malware found on Android applications, snake ransomware in corporate environments, and the newest Citrix vulnerability. Plus, you can find out how you can be on the show. All this and more right now on Breaking Down Security. Is it? Is it though? Oh yeah? What is it? I see the pale moon. Yeah, okay. Mr. Betcher, you got any earworms in your head? As he takes a drink. Oh, did Thus Spake Zarathustra get you real good? Cool. All right. So for those of you listening, welcome to the 2020 season of Breaking Down Security Podcast. I am Brian Brake, and with me, as always, is Miss Amanda Berlin and Mr. Brian Betcher. Oh. Trust me. No, we're not going to do, it's not Morning Zoo. It's not, no. There's enough podcasts that try to do that shit. Oh. Wow. Yes. I as a matter of fact, just before I hit record, I was like, yes, I only want to make these about 30 minutes now because, people don't like to listen to an hour-long show. And there he goes. So, thank you for joining us. If you are new to the podcast, we are a security-minded, InfoSec-related podcast. We're trying to educate people and make it so that you get a little education in your day. And if you're a CISP, welcome. You will get some CPEs for these, which I tend to post in Reddit now on r/CISP, just, because it's hard. Well, it's hard to get the CISP, but it's very easy, in my opinion, to keep it. So that's my job as a CISP myself. I try to keep my certifications, even though I no longer need them. No. ISC is pretty easy about it. It's like you just put the name of the podcast, Breaking Down Security, how long it was, per CPE. So if it's a 45-minute podcast, it's pretty much 0.75 credits. So 1 hour of podcast is 1 CPE. And, you can do some fancy ass maths and use your Excel spreadsheets to figure out that a 35-minute, 34-minute, 34-second podcast is, so many, fractions of a credit, and they take up to, 1/100th of that credit. So it's not difficult to do. And if you get audited, you can always just send them the link to that, and they're pretty good about it. So when I listen to podcasts, I, do the same thing if I get audited, but it's not hard. I have a 45-minute commute now every day again. So, I have plenty of time to listen to podcasts and audiobooks. So, all right, well, we're going to, what? How come? EduCause. Oh no, that's not a positive. Okay. Oh, okay. Very cool. I wouldn't call myself the Gartner of education, though. Nah, I hear you. You're right. Okay. So in April, do you know the dates? Because I went to EduCause's. Oh wow, that's the weekend. That's the weekday, I think, after B-Side Seattle. B-Side Seattle is the 18th of, the 18th of April. So that's like in the middle of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Weird. Yeah. Please post it in the show notes. If, that would be great. And I'll, wherever it is, I'll see if I can make some time to come over and see you. So, cool. Okay. All right. Sorry, I'm actually trying to change up the show note format so that we actually have more stuff in there. Some people did say it's kind of sparse. So we're going to try to put the full article and some excerpt from the article that we're referencing. That way people can kind of read it. And if they want, would you like to know more? They can click on a link and go to the full article as well. So, all right. So as we normally do the first of the year, we're just going to keep it light. We're going to talk a little news that happened over the holiday season. And we do have a segment, a proposal that we're going to bring up. Then we can, get done and finish the show. So what happened to everybody over the weekend or the holidays? What'd you all get for, Christmas or whatever? Oh, that's the gift that keeps on giving. It's awesome. It's cheap. Yeah. Very nice. Wow. What you watching on Netflix? Dracula. Okay, we finished The Witcher just recently, and I thought about Dracula. Witcher's not bad. Yeah. Normally, I don't watch a lot of those shows, but yeah, it's pretty good. I got an espresso machine, which I'm learning how to make espresso. I still have watery pucks, so I'm working on that. Yeah, I heard there's a cream you can get to fix that, but yeah. And I've been prepping for my PMP exam, which is going to be on the 10th of March. So I'm learning all my EDOs and all that shit. So yeah, it's one of those things. It's another door opener for me. So, all right, before we get to the news, I do have the proposal. One of the things that we had talked about, and we actually brought this up kind of at DerbyCon. I think I was in a Merlot-filled haze in my brain about ways that we could add segments to the podcast. And one of the things I thought of was very similar to how the Stig is on Top Gear, old school Top Gear, where they had the driver and the white hat and outfit, and you didn't know who he was or she was, but they would take the car to its limit. And the idea that we would like is, and because we understand that some people in the industry have extreme imposter syndrome, and they may not want to put themselves out there, or they maybe work for a company that won't allow them to speak. The idea would be that they could come on the show and we'll modify their voice and, we'll call them something, not the Stig, Mr. Robot or something like that. And you can record a 20 to 30 minute technical segment with us. If you, we'll do a video and an audio segment, and we'll modify the audio accordingly. And, we're looking to do 1 to 2 segments a month. We'll be putting out a link potentially in the show notes, if not now, on next week's show about, CFP, where people can get a hold of us. All your data would be, of course, anonymized. We would never tell anybody who it was. And you can discuss, maybe you found a nice tutorial on how to do Responder because Responder 3.0 just came out again, or, the recent Citrix vulnerability, which I think we're going to talk about later. Maybe you walk us through exactly how that worked, that kind of thing. Especially since now that there's code that's public, and Dave Kennedy put out a way of detecting that using a shell script. So it's pretty awesome. But if you're interested in that, please feel free to DM us on Twitter, or I can even send you my signal if you want to be super OPSEC-y about it. And you can, come on. We're looking for all kinds of people, whether they be he, she, or they. It doesn't matter. If you have a penchant for hacking and red teaming and pen testing, we want to hear from you. So if you're interested in doing that for us, we would appreciate it. So there you go. All right, cool. All right, news. We're going to go ahead and start with some news. The first article is from securityaffairs.co, and it's Google removed 1,700 Joker Malware infected apps from its Play Store. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, they said 1,700 plus, and the top thing it says, Google revealed it successfully removed more than 1,700 apps from the Play Store over the past 3 years that had been infected with Joker malware. So this isn't like they did it last week, This came out on January 12th, 2020. Pierluigi Paganini wrote the article. So, right. What gets me is that it seems to be fairly easy to put malware in various mobile app stores. Is it? I don't know. Oh, I have heard that Apple does appear to do a bit more in the way of checks. Yeah. I'm trying to look to see if there's any recent news stories about malware being found on the Apple Store. Right. I do remember, oh God, that was probably almost a decade ago, where Charlie Miller he actually had managed to put an app on the App Store that was like a stock lookup finder. Charlie Miller being the gentleman who was doing a lot of car hacking later in the last decade. But and what happened was it would also do some other less than nefarious things, but he wanted to prove a point that you could actually create something and put it on there. And, it looks nice to begin with, but then it could be changed and modified. So, that was so 24 in the last week. And they said it was infected. There were spyware in 37 countries. So pretty much every country that's a Five Eyes, and, Slovenia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland. They have them in alphabetical order, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe. Yeah, and it could be that the initial version of the application has that in place, and then once you've been certified, a lot of the checks to update are less. So they're not looking for anything else, and they probably get hundreds of applications for inclusion a week. So the 24 that they found could be just a spot check, and they could have found there could be dozens and hundreds more in there, but. I think the bigger issue. So according to this, the Joker Malware, where is it at? It says spyware automatically signs up victims for premium service subscriptions and various advertisements. Malware is able to automate the necessary interaction with the premium offers webpage, intercepting the SMS. So from what I read further on down, that Google has fixed that, so you can't sign up for like premium SMS, but attackers have abandoned it for what they call WAP billing. And I looked up WAP billing, the link in Wikipedia. It's like in-app purchases. So if you play, Pokemon Go or something, or something like that, and it's like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and buy coins. And you just click on the buy button, and automatically the Google Play interface comes up and is like, oh, would you like to buy 100 schmeckles for, $5,000? And it's like, yes, I would like to buy that with that credit card that's on file. So you get 100 schmeckles, but now you've paid $5,000 for something in an app. So that's the premium features that people are talking about. And of course, you see and hear stories all the time about kids that have ran up their parents' credit cards because they bought a bunch of premium content inside of Fortnite, for instance, and people want their monies back. So obviously they're preying on a specific demographic in some cases, but they found that it's probably more useful than in premium SMS fraud in a lot of cases. So yeah. They said details on the Joker malware available in the full report published by Google. There's a link on the Google blog about that. Billing fraud, SMS billing, toll billing. So apparently tolls, like toll calls or something like that, are also big. So yeah, it's kind of a big deal. So yeah, and so does Pokemon Go. I know I've blown $40-$50 on coins so I can buy, Pokeballs and incubators. And wow, that's so scathing. Did you hear him? He's like, oh, is that right? You say, oh, look at you. One of these days you'll grow up and be a real boy. Yeah, no, it's easy to get, rooked into that stuff, and it's addictive because, they make those games so that you almost have to buy that kind of stuff. So I can understand why you would, so the problem comes from what happens if you have a credit card tied to it and it may be a business card with no limit. It could get real ugly real soon, or you're installing these apps on your business phone. So. Uh-huh. That's true. That's true. Really? Yeah. Back in 2018, there was a story about an Ohio mother that got $950 in charges made through her son's Fortnite account. So it took her older. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do do gift cards work for that? Could you have something that would allow you to recharge your uh oh, that's good. Good job. Yeah. So, make sure that the apps you're using are legit apps potentially, and that you maybe unhook your credit card or actually require your credit card. A lot of it is requiring the credit card to ask for a password, because a lot of them are be like, oh yeah, do you want this to automatically charge every time you hit buy? And that would be bad. So you can rack up the charges pretty quickly by just clicking buy or whatever. So, right. If it requires a typed in password, that may help win the day. So, there's more information on those, on that news article if you'd like it. And we'll go ahead and move along to the second one here. This one came out a couple days ago. Good God. Oh my God. Did you? Oh, God. Yeah, I actually saw several tweets about this where it was like the MSSP, somebody had called their MSSP to find out if they use Citrix in that environment. And the MSSP said, yeah, no, we don't. And then that person scanned their MSSP's IP address range and found Citrix was in that environment. And there was a whole big mess trying to get them to fix their stuff because they were found out. Yep. 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 No, that's cool. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah. So this is the over 25,000 Citrix NetScaler endpoints are vulnerable to 2019-19781. And it's about the worst thing you could ever have happen. It's unauthenticated remote code exec. It's so easy that Dave Kennedy and them had over at Trusted Sec had a detector for it for a while and had kind of kept it under wraps until some organization, I think it was called Project Zero India, which is nothing to do with the Google Project Zero, dropped that on pretty much 5:00 on Friday afternoon, last Friday on 10 January. And, I mean, Citrix, some of this article is from badpackets.net, and they found, just by show danning it up, They found 4,576 unique autonomous systems that had vulnerable Citrix endpoints on their network. And the idea is this is like almost like an SSL VPN kind of thing. There's more information in the article itself, but they said that the vulnerability affects military, federal, state, and city governments, public universities and schools, hospitals and healthcare providers, electric utilities and cooperatives, major financial and banking institutions, and numerous Fortune 500 companies. So, of course, the first 5 bullets are obviously industries where they have a lot of security on their networks, and they don't have any problems with security. That was being facetious and sarcastic. Thank you. Yeah, and they love them some patching. Yeah. Why didn't they just bump it to 10? It's like, you're like right there. Well, that's true. How much more heinous could it be? Unauthenticated remote code exec where you can actually, run Monero miners and stuff on this thing by running a simple, a curl, you run a curl command, you can find out if it's vulnerable or not. I mean, it's crazy. So yeah, they said further exploitation of this vulnerability could be used to spread ransomware similar to 2019 11.5.10 and cryptocurrency mining software on sensitive networks. Multiple servers are compromised by the same threat actor. They could be weaponized for coordinated malicious activities such as DDoS attacks. And that's ugly. And if you haven't spent the whole weekend, trying to patch this stuff on your Citrix, there is a mitigation, I believe. Dave Kennedy and TrustedSec did put out a way to fix it, and they decided whether or not to release that or not. I don't know if they've actually released the fix, but there is a way to get around it. There is a workaround that can be put out before the patch actually happens. As far as I know, they haven't issued a patch yet, so. So if you did get into the office tomorrow and you haven't heard about all this, you're going to have a bad week. Yeah. No, it's unoff. It's unoff. I mean, it's like I can run the command right now on own systems. There's no username, no password, no nothing. You just need to know what an endpoint is and make it happen. That's what I said. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's a 9.8 and a 10. It's like, well, what's the difference? Yeah, there are a lot of Citrix ones, yeah. Citrix, Oracle, Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, gods. Mm-hmm. Wow. Sure. Right. 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 Let me see. So yeah, the TrustedSec website's pretty detailed on the type of logs that are executed and what's executed. It's a directory transversal at that point. So there's, they talked about some Perl code and stuff on some of the other links that I've had, but there's a number of things. The problem with this one is it's like Citrix is supposed to be used to allow you to have access to stuff on the inside. So obviously anything with a VPN, anything that is, compromised. I mean, Mr. Betcher and I used to work at the same company, and it was like whenever anything came out that affected the VPNs we were using, it was like, we need to fix this now. We always made it a priority. we always had to stress to the company why they needed to fix this, especially when, it was a major deal, because that's keys to the kingdom kind of stuff there. So, yeah. It is a directory transversal on the /VPN directory provided by NetScaler. So, and then you can run a specially crafted, I believe, XML file to make that happen. So there are numerous websites out there, and there's a link in the show notes to the Trusted Sec blog in the article we've covered that mentions it. So Mr. Betcher's a big fan of ransomware. He loves him some ransomware and some malware. And there's the final article we've got is the snake ransomware targets entire corporate systems. It has a question mark on it. I don't know why. This is from eHacking News. Corporate system, entire corporate system. Yeah, exactly. So the ransomware is interesting. It's written in Golang. Have you ever seen anything running in Golang, Mr. Betcher? Really? Is that normal? Oh. Really? Okay. All right. So the malware is quite interesting. It encrypts machines' files. It deletes the volume shadow copies. Mr. Betcher, what is a volume shadow copy? Okay, so you. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm. Right. Oh, okay. Right. Right. Yeah. Well, does the ransomware have full root access then at that point? Is that why it can delete the volume shadow copies, or is it can delete anything that you or a user has access to? So if you deleted the file, you can automatically replace it, or to delete it you have to be root. I mean, what is according to the article? Yeah, yeah. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Right. It doesn't exactly say what the vector for infection is. It just says upon successful infection, it subsequently erases the shadow copy files before ending different processes related to SCADA frameworks, network management solutions, virtual machines, and various other tools. So, uh huh. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So that article that we posted suggested using things like Tripwire for file integrity, but I don't know if that's I don't know how well that would work if you go ahead and, it says, oh, this might have potential bad things. Do you want to go ahead and run it anyway? Yes. And I don't think Tripwire is going to stop you in that case unless it has a valid hash that it can look up, against something like VirusTotal or whatever. I'm trying to find a site that talks about removal, but the only one I found, and I'm going to have to erase, is something called Spy Hunter, and they want you to download yet another program to remove it. So looks like it's pretty much crap, and I'll remove that one. But I'm sure there's some place online where you can figure out how to remove any snake ransomware you have. You mentioned offsite backups, Mr. Betcher. This is not the first podcast that I've heard this year that has mentioned that should be the new hotness, is like, offsite backups, not on the machine or not on a network drive. It should be similar to how you do log files, right? Where it's like you're not storing the logs on the system that can be deleted. You're moving them to a SIM in this case. So there needs to be some kind of system where it will automatically upload those things, right? Right. Yeah. And you can you said you put your shadow copies on another drive as well. What keeps the ransomware from moving to a different drive and just encrypting all of that as well? Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, as I'm trying to do in the new year, we're going to keep it to roughly 30 minutes. We're already over, so we will go ahead and end the show now. I'm glad everybody's back and healthy and happy. Quickly, Ms. Berlin, you're going to be at EduCause. You're going to be anywhere else before the end of the month? NOLACon, all right. Nice. Fantastic. Awesome. Oh, that's just wrong. Might work depending on what country or part of the world you live in, I guess. But how would people find you online, and how would they get a hold of you if they wanted to find out about NOLACon, or you're going to be at Shmoo or whatever? How would they find out and talk to you? Okay, cool. And Hackers Health, of course, on Twitter at Hackers Health, if you're interested in any mental health discussions or the like. So, Mr. Betcher, we mentioned LogMD before the show, but we're recording now. What is LogMD for those new listeners who haven't heard of it? Mm-hmm. Damn. Damn. Nice. Yep. Yes, I read that. Yes, I read that on Twitter. Yeah. Right. So people can find LogMD at log-md.com. Awesome. And you're on... Okay. Very cool. All right. And your Twitter is? All right. Nice. Okay. So BrakeSec is not just a podcast. We are a conference. We have InfoSec Campout, which I'm going to be talking with our officers here in the next week or two. We're going to get tickets put out for that. I think Miss Berlin has suggested she's going to be at InfoSec Campout for Mental Health Village, which is badass. And if you could potentially maybe do that workshop, that would be okay too. Yeah. Sorry. Whew. I got all tingly and shit. Awesome. I am so looking forward to that. So InfoSec Campout will be, we currently have it set August 28th, 29th, 2020, up here in Seattle. You will need to camp out. Well, you don't have to camp out, but it's, kind of fun. We have things and stuff, and we'll have more to do this year than we did last year. We are a local meetup. So if you're in the Seattle or Redmond or Bellevue area, we have CSEC East, which I'm the organizer of. And we have a Slack. A lot of people on the Slack. If you're looking to network, find jobs, do resume review, we try to treat the thing like a 24/7 conference. We have moderators. We have a social contract. If you're interested in getting involved in any of those things, the conference, the meetup, the Slack, you can join us on our Twitter. BrakeSec Twitter is at BrakeSec, BrakeSec, and I'm Brian Brake on Twitter. That's my name, Brian Brake. And you can send us a DM to to the BrakeSec Twitter or to our email, bds.podcast@gmail.com, and get more information. So, we're looking forward to an awesome new year. And as always, I'm glad Mr. Betcher and Miss Berlin will be with me to experience that. So that was it for this week on Breaking Down Security. Have a great week. Check out the links in our show notes for our Patreon store, our TPub store. Our thank you to our patrons for supporting the podcast. We use that as a tip jar to do hosting. Libsyn charges us for hosting. We also pay for the Zoom that we're using to do the show. Prepping and domain registration and all that other stuff, and just time getting a podcast out and building community. And we appreciate all of our patrons for doing so. So we have a TPub store if you want t-shirts and stuff. So that was it. Like I said, have a great week. Be nice to one another. Take care of yourself because you're the only you have. And we'll talk to you again soon.